crafters, and welcome to Creative Moments by G and Technique Tuesday. I'm G, and today's technique is creating a floating card. Now, we are so excited to share with you this tutorial on how to make this floating card. So let's head down to the crafting table and let's get busy. Now, just to give you an example of what it looks like, look at this card. And we call it floating because there's nothing right here. Now, a lot of times they put acetate, or you can even put vellum here. But for today's card, we're not going to do that. Now, let's talk about how do we start when we create a card? Well, I know that I want some bright colors because I am going to use this cute little elephant, and I'm making a happy birthday card. I'm also going to bring in his cute little friend, koala bear. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to bring in this granny apple, and then look at the paper that I have. This is some DSP. And this really goes with the whole theme of keeping it bright. Now I'm going to bring in some other colors. And I cut out some triangles because this resembles the banner that our little elephant is holding. And so we're just keeping everything coordinated. So now let's just move that to the side and see how we cut our card to turn it into a floating card. So go ahead and bring your trimmer, and this is going to be a top-down fold. So you take your piece of cardstock, 8.5 by 11, and on the 8.5 side, we're just going to go ahead and cut it at 4 1/4. But before we do that, here's a tip. Go ahead and score it at 5.5, and that way you will have two top fold cards when you cut it. So let's put it in our trimmer. Cut it down. We have one top fold card that we're going to put to the side that we can use at another time. And we have this top fold card. Now, to create this top fold floating card, we need to go ahead and take this top flap right here, and we are going to cut it at 2. So I'm going to put this crease line at 2. And I'm just going to continue lining it up so I can see my line right here. And I'm going to cut it. And now I have my top flap. But I need to make sure this is also cut at 2. So I'm just putting it back in, making sure that it's right up against this edge. And I'm going to slice this at 2. So now I have both pieces. And now it's just all about putting it together. Let's go ahead and bring in our bone folder and give this a good crease. Now, before I put this together, just like this, I want to have all my pieces ready, and I need to color my cute little elephant. So I'm going to bring in a piece of paper. I'm going to bring in my blends. Now, I am working with smoky slate, dark and light, and then with just a pink for his ears, and this is called light bubble bath. So let's just give him a coloring all over with this light smoky slate. Now, you saw that I left his ears blank right here because I'm going to bring in that bubble bath, and I'm just going to color them pink. Now look at that. The only thing we have left to color is his little bib right there. And I'm just going to use the light granny apple green. And now we're ready to start putting everything together. So let's go ahead and lay our inside piece down. Now I want to remind you that all the measurements are going to be over on creativemomentsbyg.com. You can just head over there and click on my blog. Now stay with us because we are going to make 2 cards today, because I want to show you this portrait top fold card, but then I also want to show you how to do a landscape card. And now I need to go ahead and put my DSP down. You can add another mat to this if you want, but we wanted to keep it quick and easy for today's card. Now I am lining this up right down here at the bottom of the card, making sure everything is lined up. And I'm going to bring in my triangle. Now once you get this lined up, you can see exactly where you want to put your triangle. And I'm not going to put this one up on dimensionals. I'm just going to add some glue to it. You want to make sure that you add glue just to the bottom and the top. Don't put anything in the middle or you will glue it down flat, and you don't want that. So make sure that this is lined up perfectly. And we're going to go ahead and put down our triangle. Okay, look at that. Now we're going to add the next one up on some dimensionals. And here we have it. Now we're going to bring in our elephant, put him right here, put his little friend right there. We have already stamped happy birthday on a little strip, and so we want them to hold that right there. So let's just add some small dimensionals. And we created a banner, look at this, that matches the little banner he's holding. And we're just going to put that just about right there, just to give it some more added dimension. And I'm just going to glue it right in the center. And now look at our card. Look at how cute and bright and cheery that floating card is. You have plenty of room to write your message. So cute. Now remember I said stay with us because we want to create another card with you. Now this card's going to be a Christmas card. So we're just going to put this one right here. And once again, I started creating my color palette. And I knew that I wanted this Night of Navy with this beautiful DSP. Look at how pretty that is. And I knew that the inside of my card, to make it white, would be a little too harsh. So I'm going to bring in my cream colored cardstock. Now this one, because it's portrait or landscape, you're going to cut it just a little bit differently. So bring in your trimmer, and this time we are cutting this at 5.5. But before we do that, we're going to score it at 4 1/4 so that we have 2 cards. So let's go ahead and add our score line. Then we're going to put it in the long way and cut it at 5.5. And now we have one portrait or landscape card. We're going to take this one and we're going to cut part of the top of the card off. We are going to cut this at 1.5 inches. So I'm going to make my line right there. I'm going to line it up right at 1.5, making sure that it follows this line, and I'm going to cut. And now we have our top flap. I just need to cut this piece at 1.5. And we have our bottom piece as well. So the next thing we're going to do is bring in our bone folder and give it a good crease. We're going to bring in our cream colored cardstock and go ahead and add that right to the back. This floating card is so quick and easy, whether you want it to be a portrait landscape or you want it to be a top fold. Very quick card for Technique Tuesday. We hope that you are liking this inspiration. Now, once again, we need to go ahead and put our DSP. Now, look at this gorgeous DSP. Look at those colors. So pretty. We chose to only do one mat, not 2 mats. And look at how this is going to look. You line it up right here, and now we're going to put our image right here. Let me show you what we have cut out. Now, we used a new die set from Stampin' Up! That cuts out this image. It has the gold part. When you cut it out, you can leave that in just like that. But when you pop it out, it makes it very flimsy. So there is another die that you can use to cut out some additional cardstock or DSP, and then you put it behind this to give it the stability that you need. And I think that that's very important, particularly since it's going to hold our floating card. Now look at what we've done. We used the die to cut out that ornament, and then we used another piece of beautiful DSP. Can you see that? It has stars on it. And we glued them together. So we are going to line this up. We are going to put 2 on here. We have another one. We're going to put it down just a little bit, but make both of them the same distance right here on the edge of this, because we have a sentiment that we've already cut out, wishing you a season of cheer. Isn't that beautiful? Now that's going to go right here on the left-hand side. So you kind of have to hold all your pieces together, get everything lined up perfectly, and then decide where you're going to put your ornaments to hold these 2 pieces together. So I'm going to put some glue here and some glue right there all the way to the top. So let's go ahead and do that. Making sure that you stay right at the top and right at the bottom. Now let's get one side done first, because that way it'll hold it exactly in place. So let's line up this bottom piece. And you can always put a piece of repositional tape here to get it lined up just perfectly if you need to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right there. Now what you might want to do is go ahead and put a block on there just to push it down and hold it while you're putting this other one on. Now I'm going to put this down just a little bit. So this time I'm going to put glue here and right here. Just going to line this up. Now I'm just going to put a block right here just to hold it down for a second while I add some dimensionals on the back of my sentiment. Okay, we can lift this up. Look at that. Oh, gorgeous. So pretty. And now we just need to add our sentiment. We're going to add it right here. And look at this. These ornaments are just beautiful. Look at that. Offset them just a little bit. So here are our two cards that we made today. Here is the card that I showed you earlier. We have thanks for blessing my life. And then finally, we have one more card. Look at this one with a grateful heart. This is our other landscape card. We want you to take a moment and leave a comment. Let us know which is your favorite. Do you like this bright and cheery happy birthday? Are you ready to make your Christmas cards? And this would be a beautiful Christmas card. Or are you ready for Thanksgiving and you have your two cards to choose here? Which is your favorite? Let us know. Well, thank you so much for spending your time with us here on Creative Moments by G Technique Tuesday. We loved creating these floating cards. And if you were inspired, we would certainly appreciate a thumbs up and a share with your friends. Well, Maudie and I want you to go out and make it a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.